And this is a Fox News alert. The Veterans Affairs Office of Inspector General is opening an investigation into allegations of a secret waiting list and delayed care at a Gainesville, Florida VA hospital. And as the VA scandal expands yet again, we can't forget those who are falling victim to this widespread neglect. Now, my next guests are both lost family members as a result of the Phoenix VA's negligence, and they join me now from outside that hospital. Daryl Richardson and Kim Sertich is with us. Guys, thank you for being on the program. Kim, I'll start with you. You believe that your father, treated at that hospital right behind you, and again, there's been reports now that at least 40 people died as a result of neglect, delayed care, and et cetera. You believe he died prematurely because of why?
Well, he had been in the hospital for 33 days before he passed away, and there was just, throughout those days, he had a blood infection, which was why he was there so long. They were just giving him antibiotics to clear it up. But there was just a series of events that just kept steamrolling until he got to the point where he got transferred up to the 4th floor, and he pulled his temporary feeding tube out, and the doctor just did not want to put it back in. Basically was kind of giving up on him.
Yeah, all right. Now, there was one point, and I read the story about your father, that you noticed that his arm was swelling. And you're saying they didn't even look at it, even though you went to the doctors immediately, and they didn't look at it for 4 or 5 days afterwards? Is that true?
Yes, that's true. Actually, he had been down on the 3rd floor, and the doctor down there had ordered a test because they had noticed it down there. And when he got transferred up to the 4th floor, they apparently didn't know about this test. And when I asked them about the swelling, they said he was just retaining water. And then a few days later, they finally tested it and found out he had a blood clot and put him on blood thinners. And that pretty much it started going downhill from there.
So in other words, had they got it 4 or 5 days earlier, you're convinced that certainly it would not have been as dire, right?
Yeah, I would imagine that had they caught it when they first noticed it, they could have, figured out the best way to treat it versus sort of kind of throwing, whatever at it just to see if they could get the blood clot down. Now,
Daryl, you had a brother, Dennis, also treated at the hospital. Tell us his story.
Well, my brother, Dennis, is a decorated Vietnam vet, and when he returned from Vietnam, he suffered from PTSD and survivor syndrome. Retired from the Lake City, Minnesota Police Force in 2010, and spent his summers in Wisconsin and his winters here in Apache Junction. In the summer of 2012, his body started swelling up, and immediately went into the hospital in Wisconsin and discovered after 3 days of tests and drawing multiple liters of fluid off of his body so that they could actually do tests that he had stage 4 liver cancer. He wanted to come back to the Phoenix VA for treatment, so the doctors packed up a document record package, and he came down here and immediately tried to start getting an appointment with a primary care physician, and was told it was a 7-month wait to get in the door.
So he was told he's got really severe liver cancer, which is extraordinarily difficult and dangerous to treat. He goes to the VA hospital, and they told him 7 months before the next available appointment?
Yeah, 7 months to get an appointment with a primary care physician, which would then he could get a referral to an oncology specialist.
What happened in the intervening 7 months? He didn't go nobody saw him?
Well, that was in August. In September, he just couldn't take the pain any longer. He checked into the VA emergency room, where they then looked at his records from Wisconsin and concurred that he did have liver cancer. And it took another week and a half, and he started on chemotherapy.
And how long was this after the original diagnosis?
Just a couple of months.
A couple of months? A couple of months with cancer is the difference between living and dying, is it not? I'm not a doctor, but I have a lot of medical people in my family. Isn't that the difference between living and dying in many cases?
It is. And during that time, we were waiting. And before he went to the emergency room, I discovered that VA hospital in Houston has one of the best liver cancer treatment programs in the country, and all it would have taken was a referral from the oncology specialist, and he could have had a good shot at living longer.
Well, so you believe your brother died earlier because of their lack of urgency and the proper care that would be mainstream for anybody that had their own private insurance? All right, here's my question for both of you. What do you want to say to the President of the United States, who promised in 2008 he'd fix this problem, in 2009 and 2012 that things are better? What do you want to say to him?
Well, I would just say you need to get down in there and look from the ground floor up and just start immediately making changes. I noticed when my dad was in there that it was just complete inefficiency in record keeping. I mean, this just needs somebody who knows how to reform a system. It doesn't need meetings. It doesn't need task force. It needs immediate action.
Darrell?
I would ask some questions. I would say, why is our Commander-in-Chief AWOL on the allegations of VA? Why is the Attorney General Holder on AWOL on the same thing? Why is FBI Director Comley AWOL on it? You know, when we were asked to serve our country, we wouldn't think of going AWOL because we knew the consequences. The Uniform Code of Military Justice, Article 85 and 86, basically was ingrained in our heads. So someone needs to teach these gentlemen and this administration, and it doesn't matter if it's Democrat or Republican, somebody needs to teach them what it means to serve in the military, like my brothers and sisters in the military have done.
So you basically feel like your country went AWOL and broke its solemn promise to your brother.
They did not have our backs. Like when we go into battle, we know who's got our back. When we go into battle with health care, we have no idea who has our back.
All right. I'm very sorry about both your stories, and we're going to continue to follow this.